This will be a review of Game Week 21 and a look forward at Game Week 22. I'm your host, John, the manager of Jon Snow FC, and I have three other managers on the call with me: Mihir, Ed, and Nicholas. Mihir, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. All good.
Ed?
I'm good, thanks. Ready to go.
And Nicholas, how are you today?
I'm well, thanks. How are things on your end?
Okay. So there was no podcast last week, so we're unable to look at the predictions of last week. So we'll just go ahead.
Was that the seventh podcast that hasn't been recorded, or the eighth one?
It was the one that Binesh and Nicholas declined to come to. I'm not sure what number that would be.
Oh, because you've lost count of how many podcasts you haven't recorded.
Okay.
I cancelled it, sorry. Pretty sure there must have been a mix-up with the dates then. I signed up for the one commencing this week, commencing 7th of Jan.
Okay, then I'll try and edit this out, but we can talk about the small talk later. Okay, so week 21 started off with a fixture between Binesh and Sham. Binesh had made a lot of moves, loaning players from many teams, including myself, to get a team worthy to face Sham. He was top of the league and he succeeded. He was able to beat Sham by 57 points to 38. Not sure if he would have done it. In fact, I believe he would have done it, my bad, without the loans. There were a good few performances from his team, notably getting Harry Kane in. Harry Kane scored him 12 points. Alonso from Mihir. Mihir, how did that transfer come about and who approached who? Was that something that you owed?
Marnie coming in with the 2 points as well from I think Jon Snow FC.
Yeah, well, that's not really what got him the win. You know, so I'm just calling out the top players. So Mihir, was that something that you proposed, or did Binesh come to you in this attempt to take down Sham?
It was pretty mutual, to be fair. Binesh wanted Alonso and Lucas Moura, so I was happy to hand them over. He gave me a good replacement in one Pasico did well, and Gundogan as well. I think in the end, both sets of players actually cancelled each other out. They both got 8 points each, so if Binesh kept the players, he would have done exactly the same. So, yeah, I mean, it was a mutual loan, and in the end, it worked out well for him, so fair play.
Yeah, it was very good on Binesh's part. He was able to do what Nicholas couldn't do the previous week. Why do you think that was, Nicholas?
Sorry?
Why do you think Binesh was able to take down Sham and you couldn't when you lost the previous week?
Why Binesh beat Sham and I didn't?
That's right, yep.
Well, that's pretty obvious, I think. I mean, Binesh did well building a Frankenstein team together from, I think, 4 or 5 different teams, whereas I just played with my own guys. And, I mean, if you compare the results, I mean, when I played Sham, that was 2 game weeks ago, by the way, I still got 46 against Sham's super record of 82. Whereas Binesh, with all those players, managed to get 11 points more. So, Sham just had a bad week that day. He could have cracked the 57 easy. And in fact, I mean, again, that same game week, I scored 61 with no loans. Compared to the Frankenstein team of Binesh, I mean, yeah, I think you can't really nail it down on one or the other here. It's just luck and fixtures.
I think Binesh played his hands strong. He went out there, he did the manoeuvres. People wanted to help Binesh out because they want to take down the person who is dominating the league. None of us can deny at the moment.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. Binesh he done well. He reached out to me personally, I didn't think too much about his fixture with Sham, but knowing that my support did secure the win for Benesh, it just makes it all the more, grateful that I could do it for Benesh and take down Sham.
I think Benesh took a risk. He went quite heavy on the Man City and Liverpool players, and they're obviously all playing each other. So that was a gamble. But Sham has 2 or 3 of the best players in the league as well. So even if Benesh did build a Frankenstein team, he was playing against another kind of Frankenstein team as well. So it was always going to be a risk, even with the loans coming in. But to have a strike force of Kane, Aguero, Firmino, who all scored as well. They did really well for him. So yeah, it was a good win for him.
You can't say though that Sham is a Frankenstein team just because he has strong players. I mean, they all belong to him. How he got them is another story. But
yeah, I know. I'm saying it's like a Frankenstein team. It's that strong.
Okay, fair enough.
Do you not think that 38 points is quite low for Sham's so-called Frankenstein team? Is that signs of things to come, or?
No, I think he just had a bad week. Beaten by a better manager. Obviously, there was a lot of fixtures on Christmas. There was a lot of rotations and stuff, and everyone can't deliver every few days. So, 38 is not. It's not a bad score. It's still a pretty average score. So, no, I just think he got beaten by the better manager that week.
So that's
he would have lost to every manager apart from Dan and Eto with his 38 that week.
My point exactly. But anyway, that's how it ended, and Sham is now 11 points with Abu, and Benesh moves up to 34 points, so it is 6 away from Nicholas. Okay, on to the second game, which was Jon Snow versus Weidenbauer. Nicholas, would you like to make a start on this one?
Yeah, no real surprise there. I mean, Jon Snow, he couldn't beat us when they still had a strong squad. Now they gave away Aubameyang, arguably their strongest player. So there was no chance this time.
Well, I saw it completely different to that. I saw a game that was quite even until the final game of that week. I think he was quite lucky to win it by the scoreline sounds quite huge, 61-46, but it was very lucky on your part to get your second sub come on, and Van Aanholt, who you never picked, come on and get 12 points for you, and that's what secured you the match at the end of the day. So 61 points is a very good scoreline. I was well beaten, and that's the third time you've beat me in a row, so I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying that I think that you need to be a bit honest with yourself and the listeners about how close that game was.
Okay, in my book, 61 minus 12 is still 49, so even if I had come with zeros up on, I would have still beaten you there.
Okay.
I think it's quite impressive that Nick even managed to accumulate a player with -3 points and still got the win.
I think the question is rather who of the two managers has to be a bit more honest with himself there. Yeah.
I think obviously in the last few weeks, John, you've got pretty low scores, 20s, 30s, but you won all those games, and this was actually your highest score in the last few weeks, and you're on the back of a loss, so it's just one of those things, I guess. But you played well. You had a strong week. I think you got 46 or 48 points, so that's not a bad scoreline. I mean, to lose to someone who gets 60 is nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, and to
yeah, absolutely not. I mean, that was the highest score during that week. Like I said before, even the next Frankenstein team couldn't achieve that, so absolutely no shame.
Yeah, that's right. Just to go back on Mihir's point around the low scoring weeks, that was coming off the back of Christmas where there was a lot of rotation. And that was when I came out and admitted that my team was no longer the strongest team in the league. But since then we have developed the team, brought in some new signings, and now we do seem to be, a team worth competing against the likes of Nicholas. So, yeah, not happy with the loss, but 46 points would have beat most other teams in game week 21. So on to the next game, which was Greg's Giants Bane versus James's Hong Keen FC. One of the relegation battle matches. I don't believe that Greg had all the hopes going into the game, but he managed to take the game by 44 points to 41. It's a very narrow margin, but he did have a few standout players that secured him the win. So Lloris in goal scoring 7 points, Maguire in defence scoring 7 points, a huge 15 points from Troy Deeney, achieving 2 goals and an assist, which got him the 3 points in three bonus points over James. Any standout players that you want to call out there, Mihir?
I think Deeney was the standout for Greg, 15 points, but I think every time Greg goes on a bad run, he always pulls out one big win out the bag, and I don't know, I really expect him to win because James was actually playing quite well. I think he beat Sham and he was getting some high scores. But yeah, Greg always out the blue pulls out the bag, so it was a good win for him. And now big game for him next week against Ed.
Ed, what are your thoughts? Another manager in the relegation zone. These two played against each other. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, really good win for Greg. Obviously, James isn't near the bottom at the moment, but he's still down near that pack. So to get that win for Greg over him, that's a big bonus for Greg. And the only consolation for me would be Lloris and Maguire with the quite high points up in the defensive area. So my hope is, you got Lloris, he's got Man United, I believe, this week. That's a good, I'm hopeful still. I mean, if you look still as a whole, the team, okay, you've got high points, but you've still got quite a few players with 0 points in there. Well, a couple of players, you've got Coleman, Lacazette, and then Milner and Shaqiri is putting in the 1 pointers. So, other than Deeney with a nice big 15 and a couple of other players around there, I'm still quite hopeful. Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to give both of them credit where it's due. For both of them to score over 40 points this game week was really good for the league, for the both of them. Even if any of them had played Sham, who is top in the league, they would have won. Sham only achieved 38 points. So, a loss for James, but still, 41 points is...
It's a great turnout by both of them. Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely should take some strength from that going into their next matches, although it's against you, Ed. Yeah. Any more points on that game?
No, I think we pretty much said everything. Very happy for Greg to just edge this one. I know there was no podcast last week, but if you look at the results, Greg just lost by 4 points to Mihir, 25 to 21. Very low scoring game, and James beat myself 27 to 22. Again, very low scoring game. So, I think Greg deserves that one. The loyalty he showed for Deeney paying off and getting rewarded there.
Okay, on to the next game, which was Abu's Cronuts versus Ed's Flying Pigs. Abu took this one by a huge scoreline, 46 points to 18 from Ed. Ed not scoring highly. Again, what's going on, Ed?
Yeah, so I was showing some faith in some players, which now has not paid off. As a lot of you have seen, I have had to get more open and change things up. But again, it's lack of starters. I don't think I had a goalkeeper that started. Didn't check again. If my goalkeepers both hadn't started, and then everyone else, low score. My strike force was rubbish. Abu obviously strongly deserves to win, and there's nothing I could have done. Nothing on my part is worthy of any praise at all.
That's not a good sign when the manager says there's nothing he can do.
No, that week. Now there's stuff I can do. Not ever.
Okay.
I'm saying nothing I can do now about that week. No. Sorry.
Not trying to put words in your mouth. That's what I thought I heard. Anything to add on that, Mihir? What could Ed have done, or he could have done differently to achieve anything closer to Abu's 46 points?
I think Abu was always going to win. He had a good week, even without his main player Harry Kane. I think he knew he could afford to load him out to Benesh, because that result favours him as well. Sham losing, so it was a good week of fixtures for Abu. But I think Ed, he realised he was on the back of a few results, so he has been busy in the trade market in the last few days. He's got a few players in and a few negotiations he's got on the table. So it's good to hear that he's doing things to try to change this.
Nicholas, does that worry you at all that Abu's lending out Harry Kane, winning matches, getting 46 points, and he's the manager directly above you? Does that worry you at all?
Yes, of course. I mean, you always have to worry about Abu and his squad. Kane hasn't been too consistent this season, so him getting 12 points is nice, but that's not the reason. It's just the team overall is very well put together. So last time, I think it's 1-1. He beat me the first time. I beat him the second time we played. But yeah, we'll say interesting matchup definitely.
Nick, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, Son's been one of your main scoring players in the last few weeks. He's got countless amount of points. Obviously,
I think last 4 matches he's like 50 plus points. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's going to be going out to the Asia Games. He's going to miss a couple games here and there. Your other players have got knocks, picking up injuries. Does that worry you?
As well, yes, of course. I mean, I'd be a fool not to worry about these things. I am in talks with the South Korean government to bail him out of there as soon as possible. So that remains to be seen. In terms of the knocks, I mean, not sure who you're talking about exactly. Mendy, I mean, I picked up when he was still injured. Just swapped him out for Delph, who got that stupid straight red when they were already winning. But
I think Wilson and Fraser. Wilson and Fraser are 50-50.
Yeah, they're just a bit tired from the Christmas games. They had 1 week off now. I think they just need maybe go get some gold-plated tomahawk steaks and they'll be fine again.
So just so I'm clear, you're going to remain loyal to Son and keep him in your squad while he's away?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so on to the final game.
The question is more remediating that damage, which is done by him having to go to this match rather than trying to find a replacement.
Okay, so on to the last game, which was Mihir versus Dan. Mihir, I think you is quite lucky to win that one by 2 points. 2 points in it. Finished up with 39 to 37 in your favour, Mihir. I think you were lucky. Do you believe you were lucky?
No, I don't believe I was lucky, because going into the game it was an even clash. Me and Dan were both level on points, level on the table, so it's always going to be a close game. Dan was actually the one who had 10 points on his bench, which came on because a couple of his players didn't play. Most of my 11 actually started. And yeah, I guess you can say a little bit lucky in the sense that Wolves Palace was a big game because Dan had 2 Wolves defenders and they conceded 2 late goals while they were on for clean sheets. I think Dan was quite ahead at that point. So his 2 Wolves players didn't get clean sheets, whereas my Palace defender did. And then on the Monday night, I needed just 4 or 5 points off Laporte, Bernardo Silva, and Jesus Gundogan. So that was always going to be tough. They were playing Liverpool. Laporte and Bernardo got bookings, so they lost the point there. But then Bernardo got the assist, so that won it for me by a couple of points. But, maybe lucky in the sense of how the games went, but on starting 11s, I don't think I was lucky.
Didn't you have 2, shown here as 2 auto subs?
I did, but I'm pretty sure they just got 2 points.
And you won by 2 points?
Yeah.
Can you explain your decision in playing Foster versus Bournemouth at home instead of De Gea versus Newcastle?
Yeah, well, I already had Lindelof in defence, so I don't want to take the gamble of playing 2 Man United defenders, because if they did concede, then I kind of lose double points. Foster's actually been playing quite well, and Watford actually have done all right on the road. Foster, even though I think he conceded 3, he's still got 4 points because he made a lot of saves. So, in hindsight, I should have played De Gea, but luckily it didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, so in that match...
Watford did only pick up 4 clean sheets so far this season, I think, but I guess that's still more than Man United. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was just going to add that Aubameyang was Dan's highest scoring player with 9 points, and as we know from the transfers and tea, he seems to have left Dan's team. Do we know if that's a permanent deal or a loan deal, or...?
I mean, there was a blind auction, so we're not too sure what the paper said, what the clauses were, but he got Hazard and Pogba in return, so that is 2 quality players for the loss of 1.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. So that wraps up game week 21. It's good to finally be back talking on the podcast again, everybody back in the office, and we'll be able to get more of these in. So on to the predictions for game week 22. Kicking off with the first game of game week 22, which will be Sham versus Mihir. How do you think that one's going to go, Mihir?
Yeah, it's a big game. It's difficult to call with tough to play against Sham. He's the only manager I haven't beaten this season, so I'm going to try get my first win against him. It's always tough when he's got the likes of Salah in his team, De Bruyne, some of the other great stars he's got in his team. So yeah, of course I'm nervous going into it, but I think I've got a strong enough squad to compete and can hopefully get the win. I know Sham's been saying stuff in the group today that he's taken a break from this round, but I think that's just bluff. I think he is genuinely panicking. He's got waivers in, he's got free agents in, so if he wasn't bothering, why is he doing all that? He's also got Aubameyang in, so I think that's just kind of nerves from his side. I I hear he's been having goes at managers that have been loaning new players. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but looking forward to it.
Ed, how do you think this one's going to play out?
So I think this one might end up quite close. So I know Sham obviously had a great deal with Dan, which has changed the shape of his team a bit. And then Mahir, I know he wants this win. So I think it'll end up quite a close game. And I think it'll be quite an interesting one. See what changes it's made to the team and see who gets the win. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried because last couple of days I've got a few injury doubts. I've got Lucas Moura's doubtful, Aguero's 50-50, Bellerin's 50-50, Goodmanson's now 50-50, and they all had favourable fixtures, so that is a bit of a concern going into the game. My bench isn't that strong, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so jumping off the fence, who do we think is going to win? Ed?
If I had to choose, I'd say Sham might probably get the win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mahir does come back. Okay.
Nicholas?
Well, yeah, Mahir has Frankenstein it up by the looks of it, but depends if Sham has another bad week, it might be enough. His squad is also a bit weaker now following the Aubameyang trade, I think. Will be a close game. I haven't seen Mahir's final squad, so can't be sure, but I'm guessing Mahir will take it, given the amount of effort he's put into it.
Well, I haven't actually put in that much effort because, Dinesh, he approached me. He wanted Jesus after he scored 4 goals in the week. John, you were pretty keen on Iwobi this week, so these guys all approached me for the deals. I had no involvement in these loan deals, so I'm just helping some managers out.
I do find that a bit hard to believe, but just leave it as is, I suppose.
Okay, so with your attempt to downplay a Frankenstein attempt, Mahir, I'm just going to let you know that I think Sham will probably take this one, even though Sham, I agree, he does seem quite worried. Anytime anybody mentions him, he starts biting, which is probably a sign of the worry that's coming over him and his team. But I think that he's made some great transfers. He's got a strong midfield, a strong defence, and now he's got that striker that he always wanted. I think he might be just a bit too much for this attempt of a Frankenstein team that Mahir's built. So I'm going to go with Sham on this one. So
he did make a comment that he said that myself and you, John, were in a relationship or some sort. Can confirm that this is completely false. We have no connection to each other. It's purely just fixtures that worked out for both of us. You're way below me in the league, so your fixtures and players don't really affect me. I have bigger things to worry about, like getting in the top 3. You have other things to worry about, like getting out the bottom 3. So there's no such thing as an alliance or whatever Sham wants to call it.
Well, that's to be expected from a worried manager. But just to correct you on one thing, I'm 7th in the league, and I've got my sights on mid-table, so I'm no longer in the bottom 3.
But if you lose to James, you will be.
Okay, but you just said I was in the bottom 3, so let's just keep it at that. So we've got a split decision there, 2 in favour of Sham and 2 in favour of Mahir. Should be an interesting match. Let's move on to the next, which is Dan versus Abu. How do you see this one going, Ed?
I think my gut would usually be Abu, but who knows who's in the team this week. With some of the loan deals going out. So I have no idea what his team will be. But I think Abu will still get it because he seems to always manage to pull up quite good point scores. Dan, though, Dan has brought in Hazard, Pogba, and done some other deals, I believe. So, actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with Dan.
Okay, so Ed's going for Dan. And Nicholas, what do you think?
Yeah, with the fixtures, I think Dan is favoured here. Chelsea playing Newcastle, I mean, Hazard is capable of getting 10 plus, 15 plus points easily. Wolves have Man City away, so it's not going to be a lot of players from other Wolves players. And yeah, Spurs Man U is a bit difficult for both players, I'd say. But yeah, Dan slightly favoured after the deal with Sham.
So that's 2 in favour of Dan. I personally will go for Dan on this occasion. I think that he's made some great additions to his team, and Abu also on the back of a very strong win and second in the league. You would think that he has the power to take Dan, but I think that Dan will take this one in a very high scoring game. That's my prediction. And Mihir?
Sorry, I have to drop off, but yeah, I'm going to go Dan as well.
Okay, no worries.
Right.
So all in favour of Dan on this one. Next up is Ed versus Greg. How do you see this one playing out, Ed?
So I get, like we said before, Greg did a great shift last week with his points return. But I think there's some changes that I've brought into the team, potentially some of the fixtures. I think I can pull this one off. I think I can get some points on the cards.
Who is it you feel that's going to make the difference in your team as opposed to last week when you scored 18 points?
So I've got a goalkeeper at the start. In my midfield, I've got a couple of new players coming in who I think perform quite well. So Nazare, if he can get the start, hopefully he'll start their game. I'll go against Arsenal, but I wouldn't be surprised if he can do something there. Something like that. And yeah, Moreira against Tottenham. That's going to be a big game. So Man United won all their games with their new manager. Although Tottenham's a class team, but anything could happen in that Tottenham Man United game, I think.
Okay, that sounds very confident. You think you'll get a win. Nicholas, how do you think this one will go?
I think I would have to give this one to Greg. If he can repeat his performance from last week to some extent, I think he will take it. I haven't seen Ed's changes yet, though, so I'm not sure. Ed, did you bring in any Cardiff or Huddersfield players for this game week?
I'm looking at some stuff. I haven't bought in a Cardiff player yet, but I've been looking at some stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's for this game week. I think that there are going to be great differentials brought into myself, and yeah. But as it stands, from experience, I would have to say Greg's the favourite.
Okay, so I too believe that Greg will take this one over Ed. I'm not entirely convinced on the transfers that Ed's made compared to the 40 plus points that Greg achieved last week, so I'm going to go with Greg on this one. So that was...
You have to be mindful though that Greg's 40 something points were off the back of 15 from Dini, so it's not going to happen every week.
Very true. Well, no matter what, it's a big game. It's 9th versus 10th. They're both on 21 points, so a lot to play for in that game. The next game is James's Hong Keen FC versus my Jon Snow FC. I'll kick things off. It's a very tense match, 7th versus 8th. A win for me could take me closer to the middle of the pack. The win for James can put him level on points with me and like claw me back into that relegation battle. I've just loaned out 2 players to Mahir, who came begging and crying to try and build his Frankenstein team in his match against Sham, with the promise that I will get some players when I come back, so I decided to lend them out to him, weakening my team, taking Mane off of me. I feel I'm going to struggle against James, so I believe James might be able to take this one. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth to lose to a team as bad as James is, but you know, it may happen this weekend. How do you think this one's going to go, Nicholas?
Who were the 2 players that you loaned out?
I loaned out Mane and Piera.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, James' squad is looking good. He's got William and Kante from Chelsea, who are, just as mentioned, out of Newcastle. It's quite an easy game for them in theory. And West Ham have done historically quite well against Arsenal when they were playing West Ham. So Arnautovic now back to full fitness with scoring 2 goals in the previous match against Brighton. So I think James is favourite in this match.
So that's 2 for James. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I think I need to get the consensus in this one. I think with, like you say, the manoeuvres that have been, I think James is going to edge this one out this week.
Okay, fair enough. All in favour of James. And the final game of game week 22 is Nicholas versus Binesh. Do you want to start us off on this one, Nicholas?
Yeah, I think it's very close between the 2 of us. Binesh has, I've said that many times by now, really turned the squad around, recruit many good players. Aguero and Firmino up front, that's almost unbeatable. I did bring in some Cardiff players, Reed and Banda, who are playing Huddersfield at home. Hopefully they can provide some points. Apart from that, I'll be relying on Vardy Madison, who will play Southampton at home to contribute. The rest of my players all have hard fixtures, even though they're very strong. I mean, Martial against Tottenham, most likely he's going to score, but may not at the same time. It's going to be a difficult game, but Binesh load out some players, so I think I can win. I think I can win this. It would be an important 3 points for me to get clear of 4th place as well.
Yeah, that is something that you need to try and establish yourself and remain in that pack alongside Abu and Sham. I think that Binesh has built a very strong team over the last few weeks. Aguero is only shown as a 75% chance of playing, but even without him, I think that he has quite a strong team. But I don't think it'll be strong enough to beat your team this week. So I'm going to go with yourself, Nicholas. That's 2 in favour of Nick. Ed?
Yeah, then I'm going with Binesh edging this one just because Tottenham's got a hard game. Wilson and Fraser potentially might not start, who are great players. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for Nesh slightly in this one. I think Nick's definitely in with a chance. But yeah.
Okay, so that concludes the fixtures for game week 22. Is there anything else anybody would like to add? Ed, do you not want to talk about your transfer issue that you went through with Greg? Say thank you to the league.
I say thanks for the league supporting me. I did not realise there was going to be a vote on the issue. As you can see, Greg got the player because it was only my second pick as it was anyway, so there was going to be no issue of him actually getting the it's just he was going to be one of my waivers. So, but I thank the league for supporting the rules of the league and the proper process in place. Yeah.
Okay, that was all from me. If there's nothing more to add, good luck everybody, and catch up next weekend.
Thank you, John.
Good luck. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.